Welcome to Module 5, Requirements Lifecycle Management, or simply RLCM. This is one of the most practical and powerful knowledge areas in business analysis. If you think of business analysis as a journey, from identifying a need to delivering a solution, then RLCM is the discipline that ensures every requirement makes that journey smoothly and successfully. It's the glue that holds analysis together. RLCM teaches us how to manage requirements and design information from the moment they are conceived, right up until they're retired or replaced. Throughout this module, we'll explore how business analysts maintain clarity, traceability, and alignment between what stakeholders want and what teams actually deliver. We'll unpack 5 essential tasks: trace, maintain, prioritize, assess changes, and approve. And we'll look at key techniques such as traceability matrix, impact analysis, and configuration management. So let's get started with understanding what RLCM really is and why it matters so much in real-world projects. Let's begin by defining RLCM. RLCM is the systematic management of requirements and design information throughout their entire lifespan, from the first idea or business need through design, testing, implementation, and finally retirement. Requirements evolve, and RLCM ensures that evolution is organized, traceable, and aligned with business goals. Why is this important? Because in any organization, change is constant. Business objectives evolve, markets shift, technology updates, and stakeholder expectations grow. If we don't manage requirements systematically, we risk ending up with outdated, conflicting, or forgotten needs. Imagine a banking app where a requirement for multi-factor authentication was added, but never linked to its related privacy and UX design requirements. Later, during implementation, the team introduces two-factor logging. But the customer experience team isn't informed, leading to poor design decisions and user frustration. That's a classic failure of lifecycle management. RLCM prevents this by providing structure and accountability so that every change is traceable, every decision is documented, and every requirement stays relevant. It's what keeps our business analysis process controlled yet flexible, allowing us to respond to change without losing alignment with the overall business vision. By the end of this module, you'll be able to do 4 main things. First, you'll understand how requirements evolve, from initial inception, through implementation, to eventual retirement. Each stage of that journey matters, because mismanagement at any point can ripple through the entire project. Second, you'll master the 5 core tasks of RLCM: trace, maintain, prioritize, assess changes, and approve, which form the foundation of structured requirement governance in BABOK. Third, you'll learn to apply key techniques: traceability matrix, prioritization methods like Moscow and Kano, impact analysis for change evaluation, and configuration management for version control. And finally, you'll be able to navigate change management. That's where business analysts really prove their value. You'll see how disciplined evaluation and approval processes prevent chaos, especially in dynamic, fast-moving projects. Now, let's look at the 5 pillars that make RLCM function effectively. The first is trace requirements. This ensures we know how every requirement connects to a business need, a stakeholder, a solution component, or a test case. Second, maintain requirements. This is about keeping them accurate, relevant, and reusable throughout their life. It's similar to maintaining a living document. Requirements aren't written once and forgotten. They must evolve as reality changes. Third, prioritize requirements. We don't have infinite resources or time, so we must decide which requirements deliver the most value. Fourth, assess requirement changes. No project ever goes exactly as planned. So we must analyze each change request for its impact on cost, timeline, scope, and risk before deciding. And finally, approve requirements. Formal stakeholder approval ensures alignment, accountability, and authority to proceed. Together, these tasks give us governance. They're not bureaucratic, they're strategic. They ensure we're building the right thing, in the right order, with full transparency. Tracing requirements is the foundation of control in business analysis. The purpose is simple but critical: to establish clear and maintained relationships between every requirement and other project elements. For example, a user story like, "As a customer, I want biometric login for faster access," should be linked to related business objectives, technical design components, security policies, and test cases. When we map these relationships, using a traceability matrix, we gain visibility into how a change in one area impacts others. This is what enables effective impact analysis later. Key outputs of this task include an updated traceability matrix, refreshed requirement relationships, and coverage analysis reports. In practical terms, if a stakeholder asks to remove a feature, traceability tells you exactly what else will break. That's why traceability is not optional, it's your safety net. Maintaining requirements means keeping them accurate, current, and reusable. Think of it like maintaining data quality. Outdated or inconsistent requirements can derail entire projects. This task prevents requirements from becoming obsolete. As business conditions or technologies change, good maintenance involves version control, repository organization, and ongoing validation to ensure relevance. Let's say your organization is migrating from on-prem systems to the cloud. Requirements about server specifications or storage constraints might become irrelevant, so they need to be updated or retired. Maintenance also supports reusability. If you've developed a well-tested login requirement for one application, you can reuse that for another, saving time and effort. And tools like configuration management and repository management help ensure proper versioning and accessibility across projects. Now let's talk about one of the most strategic aspects of business analysis: prioritization. We all know that stakeholders often want everything, and they want it now. But as analysts, our job is to balance value, risk, and feasibility. Prioritization determines which requirements should be implemented first to deliver the highest business value. The BABOK RET suggests using factors like business value and urgency, for instance, a revenue-critical feature, risk and dependencies, technical prerequisites or resource limits, stakeholder needs in politics, some requirements carry strategic weight, regulatory constraints, compliance items can't be ignored. We apply techniques like Moscow analysis, categorizing requirements as must-have, should-have, could-have, or won't-have, or weighted scoring, where we assign numerical values to rank importance. In real-world terms, think of prioritization like a triage in a hospital. Address the most critical issues first to ensure the system stays healthy. This is where analysis meets change control. In every project, change is inevitable, and how we assess it determines whether we stay in control or spiral into chaos. The assessment process follows 4 key steps. Receive the change request. Stakeholders formally propose a modification. Perform an impact analysis. Evaluate the effects on scope, cost, schedule, quality, and risk. Recommend a decision, either accept, reject, or defer the change with supporting rationale. Communicate outcomes. Transparency ensures everyone understands the decision and its implications. Let's take an example. A retail company wants to add a new payment gateway just weeks before launch. Through impact analysis, you find it'll delay go live by a month and cost an extra $40,000. Armed with that information, decision makers can weigh benefits versus trade-offs. Without this step, scope creep would run wild. The key output here is an approved or rejected change request with documented rationale and impact analysis. The final step before implementation is approval. This is not just a signature exercise, it's about accountability and shared understanding. When stakeholders formally approve requirements, we create an approved requirements baseline, the official reference point for all design, testing, and delivery work. This process involves presenting verified requirements, facilitating governance reviews, and documenting every sign-off. Common approval methods include structured reviews, detailed walkthroughs where requirements are explained in context, and decision modeling to record rationale behind acceptance. For instance, in a healthcare system rollout, every approved requirement related to patient data privacy must have been reviewed by compliance officers before it proceeds. This ensures not only alignment, but legal and ethical assurance. Approval brings the cycle full circle. Requirements are now validated, accepted, and ready for implementation. Throughout RLCM, we rely on a set of core analytical techniques to ensure structure and control. Let's briefly revisit these four. Traceability metrics connects requirements to their origins and outputs, helping you visualize dependencies and perform impact analysis effectively. Prioritization techniques, like Moscow and Kano analysis, which help allocate resources to the most valuable and time-sensitive features. Impact analysis, a systematic evaluation of how proposed changes affect scope, cost, schedule, quality, and risk. This helps stakeholders make informed decisions. Configuration management ensures proper version control, so you know exactly which requirement version is approved and implemented. Together, these techniques make RLCM both robust and agile, allowing us to adapt without losing structure. Let's bring everything to life with a real-world example. Imagine a major retail bank developing a mobile app. Halfway through, stakeholders request adding biometric authentication for fingerprint and facial recognition. At first glance, it seems like a simple upgrade, but the business analyst knows better. They trace affected requirements, discovering that this impacts 12 existing requirements across security architecture, workflows, and compliance. Next, they perform impact analysis, identifying a 3-week timeline extension and £45,000 additional cost. But the trade-off, a 40% improvement in login speed and better customer trust. Then comes documentation. The BA updates the traceability matrix, records changes in the configuration system, and ensures all stakeholders are informed. Finally, the Change Control Board reviews the case, approves it formally, and implementation proceeds with full transparency. The result? The change was implemented successfully, stakeholders had full visibility, and traceability was maintained throughout. That's RLCM excellence in action. To consistently achieve success like that, organizations should follow a few best practices. Maintain rigorous version control, use proper configuration management tools and naming conventions, review priorities regularly. Business conditions change, your requirement priorities should too. Ensure continuous communication. Stakeholders should never be in the dark about requirement changes. Centralize requirement storage. Keep everything accessible and organized. Leverage visual traceability. Use diagrams and matrices to make dependencies crystal clear. Establish clear governance. Define who approves what, and under which conditions. And finally, remember the golden balance. Do balance ambition with realism. Don't ignore organizational culture. Do prioritize ruthlessly. It's better to deliver a few well-managed, high-value requirements than to attempt everything and deliver chaos. As we wrap up Module 5, let's summarize what we've learned. RLCM ensures that requirements remain relevant, traceable, and controlled from inception through retirement. It provides a framework that connects business needs to delivered value through governance, structure, and accountability. We explored 5 core tasks: trace, maintain, prioritize, assess changes, and approve, each playing a vital role in ensuring requirement integrity. We also learned about the key techniques: traceability matrix, impact analysis, configuration management, and prioritization. Remember, these aren't just theoretical tools, they're what enable real-world success, ensuring your projects stay aligned with strategy, avoid costly rework, and deliver tangible business outcomes. For your CBAP exam, expect around 15% of questions from this module. And in real life, you'll use RLCM principles almost every single day. Master this, and you don't just manage requirements, you manage clarity, alignment, and ultimately, business success.